everybody, it's Kenny K again, bringing you a new review. This time a movie from 1977, an old one, which has a IMDb of 5.3 on which I don't disagree. I really disagree with. This movie is a 6.5, and I'll tell you later. This is gonna be a complete spoiler review. Okay, so I'll just talk about the synopsis, the story, and then what I think about the movie, and then I'll go a little bit more in depth. So the movie starts out. The movie is a PG rating, okay, but I think the reason that they got that PG rating, although a lot of people get killed in bloody ways, but it's always like bite marks, claws, things like that, and blood. You see the blood, but not like severed limbs. That you don't see. Maybe that's why it got a PG rating, but it's a horror sci-fi thriller, and the sci-fi is also a little bit questionable, but hey, who is the movie starts also with this sign of our responsibility towards nature, that we shouldn't destroy nature and the animals that live there. And this is just a fictional story. What would happen if this situation would happen, in the movie, this fictional situation. And I think that Steven Spielberg, because Steven Spielberg always regretted this, that he gave the Great White Shark a bad rep because of Jaws, and he should have put that in the beginning of the movie too, because they basically almost got wiped out, the great whites, because of the movie Jaws. So it's not a bad idea of putting something like that in the movie, especially when you're dealing with real animals. Now Jaws wasn't real, but it represented a real shark, so I like that. Basically, the movie has three main actors. You've got Linda Day George, Christopher George, again, our married couple. Again, these actors, if you give them a main character role through the entire movie, they are so much better. And I'm gonna do a side tangent at the end of the movie, of this clip, but that's for the in-depth review, and that's for later on. And who do we got as the third main character? Leslie fucking Nielsen. You heard me right, Leslie Nielsen. I mean, Prom Night, everybody, 1980. The guy played in. A horror movie. I think he had a lot of horror movies. I should actually watch his his movie list, what he's done before. I think he did a lot of thrillers and sci-fi movies and horror movies, because in the Prom Night, he was really uptight. He was sitting there like it was against his will. It's like he was reading his lines from a cue card, and in the third act, it's like his contract was done. He's completely gone. Even when Alex, I think Alex is the name of his son, who, spoiler alert, is the killer, and Kim is Jamie Lee Curtis. the mom also, the mother also, not a known character, not a known actress. I didn't know her. She's gone. The two parents are just gone. And I think if the mother was there, she was already unstable of the fact that she lost her daughter so many years ago. I think knowing that Alex is the killer and knowing that Kim's boyfriend was one of the four um, killers of, because I'm doing this because it's an accidental death of the daughter, the young daughter, that would put her completely completely unhinged. She doesn't. I think that would she would completely get overboard. She fucked up. But enough of prom night. This one, Leslie Nielsen really did a great job playing basically the villain. So the movie is actually about a guy named Steve Buckner. I actually don't know a lot of the names. There were a lot of people, but all the people were fleshed out. But I can't say because a lot of people didn't give them names. They just, like a guy named the Professor. One guy was Roy Moore, but he's an NFL player. They call him the NFL player and the superstar, and but he has cancer and untreatable. The commercial exec, which is Nielsen, and Steve Buckner is the organizer of these nature hikes with limited supplies, no weapons, limited food, limited water, and if something would go wrong, they have a location on the map where there's water, food in a little container. So they're also already they are prepared for something if something would go awry, right? They take you with a chopper up to the mountains and basically you hike from there. Now, at the meantime, they're talking, and that's probably the sci-fi part of the movie, that the sun is sending out rays to the ozone layer, and it's giving off this chemical substance that basically all the animals are really affected by it, and they all become rabid. Basically, they all, but not like just kill, smart, and they kill smart. They watch their prey and they attack at the right time. Even the buzzards are working together with lions, mountain lions, to attack now, and it's great. It also affects the humans. The higher you're up, the higher you're near the sun, the more chances you're gonna get infected. And the people that get infected get these red spots over their head, and they become paranoid, aggressive, and even worse, they can kill. So it's not only nature you have to be scared about, it's also the humans. So that's a little bit of the story. Okay, the town goes in martial law, the military is involved, and you get the gist of it. Okay, now my personal experience with this movie is it was a great movie. I loved basically all the characters. all fleshed out. A few that I didn't like, about two, that's it. And there were a lot of people on this hike, at least 10 plus people. Um, you've got one character that I really like called Michael DeSanti, a Native American Indian, who is the right hand man of Buckner, Christopher George, who plays the organizer of this trip, and he's like uh, Billy. If you've seen Predator, if you never seen Predator, shame, shame, right? It's Billy the Tracker. He's sort of the same in this movie. Santi is sort of a tracker. He knows nature. He knows it's what he has to do to keep things safe. Guards, putting on guards, night duty guards and shit like that. He's basically Billy, and I really liked his presence. So I like the characters and the story. It's a story that personally I never seen before. I know there are creature feature movies like Alligator and other movies. I think what's it about a lion that escapes and kills everybody. It does, but this one is a little bit different. You know, the animals are smart and they are working together and they want to kill everybody, and in the meantime people want to kill everybody. So movie is called Day of the Animals. So I forget to say the title, sorry. It's like Day of the Dead, but in this case the animals are sort of the dead, you know. It has that feeling, that survival feeling, of a horror survival feeling. Really good, and personally I'm giving it a 5.1. I'm giving it a 6.5. Really, it's that good, that good. And PG, there are a few scenes in there that really are brutal and sad. I'll get to that. So for the people who don't want to have spoilers, I'm gonna start now with a little bit more in depth and spoil the movie, right? So I recommend you seeing it first because it's just good. Day of the Animals, 1977. I think it's free on YouTube, but I'm not sure. Okay, so they're going hiking. Now, from the beginning, Leslie Nielsen is an asshole. He's a douchebag. Leslie Nielsen is the asshole. Yeah. An asshole and a racist, and later on even a rapist. So, okay, that's because of the chemicals, but he is a person that you really want to see killed and killed good, you know. Like I said, Michael DeSanti is the Indian tracker, and he knows nature. That's my dog being silly here. Nature, dog, because dogs also are attacking people. Wild dogs. I mean, yeah, it's every animal, like from dogs to rats to mountain lions, buzzards, eagles, everything. Every animal is basically a killer. And the sheriff warns Buckner not to go up the mountains because he says we've got a lot of reports of animals attacking people and, you know, rattlesnakes biting people and things like that. Then Steve Buckner, Christopher George, he says, and that's the only thing that I didn't like on Christopher George, is that he answers with the southern voice, y'all shouldn't be afraid. What we all gonna be fine. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, he talked like that because he was born and raised there, but I know how he sounds, and it was a little bit stupid, but because I know how he sounds, right? Linda Day George is the reporter, and Leslie Nielsen is the commercial exec. You've got an NFL player that has cancer, but I think it's like this trip was on his bucket list because he's gonna die and he wants to do this. You got the professor, who's basically a scientist also. He takes pictures, he knows stuff about nature. You've got and that's one of the characters that I didn't like, the Beverly Hills mom, divorcee, with her son. I really liked the son. The son was taking his stand, trying to fight the animals. He was braver than her mother. The mother is like, "Ow, ow." She was constantly, "Oh, I wish I was in the Hilton. I wish I was in a cocktail party on a pool. Maybe, you know, in Beverly Hills we have that. Why the fuck did you came here, stupid bitch? Just stay in fucking Beverly Hills then." No, she has to come to this fucking nature hike, which is pretty damn hard because you're going up a mountain that even Leslie Nielsen is saying, I didn't know this is gonna be such fast paced. And then I think the NFL player says, "What's the matter? Can't you keep up, old man? Can't you keep up, old man?" And then he says something, and that's a smart comeback. Here, tackle this. So, okay. But then you have a young couple. I think one of the young woman was named Margot. The other guy I don't know. Young couple. Then you have a married couple, but it's on the brink of divorce. So they are doing this to save their marriage, and that's the second character I didn't like, the wife. She was constantly on the guy's chomping on his balls. I mean, he was if she could, she would take a rock and smash his testicles. And she's constantly angry and you know. But luckily, she gets killed in a horrible way and be done with it. I'm forgetting somebody. Reporter, no, yeah, that's about it. So Leslie Nielsen is always calling Steve Buckner, "Hey, hotshot, what are we gonna do now, hotshot?" And he gets on the skin of Buckner. So there's a moment where he just, you know, decks him. My name is Steve, and he's on the ground. And then there's the scene where DeSanti wants to give him a spear, here, use this. And he says, me no need spear, me are strong. And he, he's, and it's racist. Even so much that the NFL player is saying, what the fuck are you doing, you piece of shit? And native Indian replies, why are you talking like this? Don't worry, Kimosabi. His nickname for that guy is Kimosabi. He's an asshole in this movie. Leslie Nielsen is an asshole. The guy of Naked Gun is an asshole. I really was going for it. That's that you gotta get, knowing where his career went. You gotta give him that. He really went for it in this movie. In the meantime, there's a reporter, a broadcast, saying that the sun is giving rays to the ozone layer, and it's releasing this chemical dust, and the people that are higher up, so these hikers, because they go with helicopters to the mountain, these are much more affected, and the animals are also, animals and people are infected, but animals become smart but rabid killers, and humans, depending on some, are sort of immune, or they get red spots on their face, and some have that, but they still are kind of immune or completely immune. Some don't have the spots. Leslie Nielsen, of course, gets all of his complete face like red spots, and there's this. So there's the military goes into town on the ground level, and they're calling in martial law. So the deputy calls the sheriff. Sheriff is a big fat guy, and he's okay. He's saying, the deputy, you have to come now. We have to evacuate the town. Come right now. Okay. He was sleeping. He didn't want to go, but okay. But the stupid thing is, he goes to the kitchen, hears scratching, then he puts the light on in the kitchen and stops. What does the guy do? He's like, he opens the refrigerator, and he takes out this big ass chicken that he's gonna eat all by himself, and he's taking sandwiches, and when he looks back, it's covered with rats. And he's like, oh, and they attack him straight to the face, and they're biting him, they're clawing him because they have sharp nails, and one just, when he takes one off, it rips the skin right off of him, and he throws the rat outside, but then a vicious dog is coming towards him, and he's running upstairs to his wife. She said, what happened to you? Rats. Damn rats. And then when he arrives at town, when he comes into the police station, the deputy says, what the hell happened to you? Rats. Damn rats. Okay. He's as useful as a rock that's just sitting there on the sand. He's just there to wear a sheriff's hat and a costume, because I think if he walks, let's say if he runs a few yards, he'll just pass out or even die, you know. So meanwhile, the town is being evacuated, but we go again up the mountains, happens with the hikers. And the first attack is a wolf. They're camping, and the Santi. Oh, it says the first thing he says before they camp. Listen, to Buckner, there's no sound. It's weird, and out of the blue, all these buzzards start to all together make sounds like. And they're like, oh, and they're everywhere surrounding them, and they go and set camp. And the Santi says, I think we should keep the fire going, and I also think we should get a night watch. So Buckner takes the first one, and the Santi takes the second one. Now, in the meantime, the fucking married couple and the reporter, Lisa Day George, sees this, that, but it's almost she's supporting the wife, that you're only good if your balls work or something like that. She's a bitch, and then in the meantime, the mother is always so harsh to the son, and then the Santi sort of he comforts the son, almost like a father figure for him, and he goes to the Beverly Hills mom and he says, you shouldn't be so hard, and then, yeah, but you should, you know where his dad is? At a cocktail party in Beverly Hills, and this and that. I didn't want to come to this trip. Why the fuck did you came, bitch? Jesus Christ. She has this annoying voice like, come on. He's drinking in a cocktail party. I mean, oh, Jesus Christ. But she doesn't die. That's the sad part of the movie. She's one of the survivors. Jesus. Probably because she has a son and they didn't want to kill her off because the son would be, okay, a dad, but a dad figure that's nowhere near him. So it, you know, and during that night, the married wife, which I said I hated because she was constantly suppressing her husband, gets attacked by a wolf. She completely gets scratched open and has teeth marks on her hands. Eventually the wolf leaves, but Buckner says, I never seen something like that. He says, this isn't normal. DeSanti says, I feel we are being watched. So that's really creepy. The fact that every animal in the mountain lions, wolves, rabbit dogs, even small fucking bunnies are watching them, waiting to kill them. It's pretty eerie. And with the next daylight, Buckner says, you know, you guys go back to the ground, go back and hike to the first station you get is going down about 1 day of hiking. And then the reporter, Linda Day George, comes to the guy, don't press her, be nice to her. And it's like, okay, and he says, yeah, I will. I protect her with all my life. So this guy is a fucking tool, and why the fuck, she doesn't, okay, you know, at some point they're hiking, and the last words she says to her husband is, I fucking hate you. And then, luckily, the buzzards start an attack on her, and they're the bird style from Hitchcock instead of gulls. These are vicious buzzards, and they start to, they have these big beaks, and they're starting to peck her, and the blood's coming out of her from her face because they're pecking on her head. They're pecking on her arm, and he wants to get in between, but then he gets pecked. He can't get in between, and then she get her hand. You see her knuckles. That's why I don't understand the PG rating. It's pretty awful. Then she gets pecked so hard that she basically, the birds punch her. They push her off the mountain, and she falls to her death between the rocks. So the guy's like, no. Okay. Later, we see this guy going to a river, and we see a doll passing by, and he sees this little girl, 11, 12 years old. She lost her parents during a hike, and he's all the way through the movie taking care of her, calling her baby. Her name is Ruby, and she sees him as a new father figure. It's a nice bonding, because the guy wasn't an asshole. He was affected because he had all these red spots, and he did have these moments of aggression, but then he immediately stopped. He felt bad for it. Now he takes the daughter all the way up to town. Everything is deserted. Everything. We see this big truck, and the horn is going. The horn of this truck is constantly going. They open the door. It's the fucking fat sheriff who falls out. I don't know what killed him. There were no animals in there. I think he died from the chemicals. The body probably couldn't take it because he was so fat. He's dead. And they are trying to they find a car, doesn't work, and eventually my dog is acting weird. I think he's seen this movie too. I think my dog wants to pee, but I'm gonna wait a little while because I know she does. She stares at me with the stare. What you gonna do? I'm gonna wait a while. She's just here. She's again. Day of the Animals. So where I was. So he gets in the car. He can't. He can't start the car. He says to the girl, "Listen, stay in here. I know I said I'm never gonna leave you, but you have to stay in here because you see that green Beetle? That's his car. That's my car. I know it works. I'm gonna drive it next to this car and pick you up because there are a few rabid dogs around." He takes a hammer. He goes. He's really being observing, and he's the dogs are kind of keeping distance of him. He opens the door of his car. It's full of snakes, rattlesnakes. He gets bitten like 5 times. Whoa. And then the dogs attack him because he loses the hammer, and and that's such a sad scene. Actually, I got teared eyes because the girl is watching like she's I mean, fuck, man. The girl's crying. Her lip is pouting. She's like, I mean, fuck. And this is a PG fucking very fucking movie. This fucking R-rated stuff. And meanwhile, you hear the guy yelling and being mauled to pieces. Fucking hell. You don't see the guy, but you have to see the expression of the girl. Jesus Christ. And then at some point, the camp. Oh yeah, Leslie Nielsen is the watcher. You know, the watchman. He give me 1 second. I'm gonna come back because my dog has to pee. Yeah, sorry for that. It's the day of the animal, so I should, you know, give her what she wants. Probably gonna have to put her open the door again, but uh, Leslie Nielsen is falling asleep, and then mountain lions, multiple mountain lions, attack the campers. They're all being scratched up, bitten, and Buckner and the Santies are using these sticks with fire to keep animals are scared of fire and they can lure them away. And Leslie Nielsen's like, he's doing fuck all. Then he's constantly being worse and worse and worse after this, calling, you know, Buckner hotshot. Come on, hotshot, what are we gonna do? And he says, you stop calling me that, says Buckner. And he says, I'm gonna say what I goddamn want, says Leslie Nielsen. He's really being an asshole. And he says, well, let's go to the fucking food you said you have in that little container. They go to the food. Apparently the animals got in, and like I said, they're smarter, they're more organized, they ate all the food. And now of course Leslie Nielsen is going apeshit, and he to be continued. I'm gonna let my dog back in. Yeah, it's Day of the Animals. Day of the Animals. Oh, you crazy dog. So he goes apeshit and he says, listen, it's 12 miles to the top, to the ranger station with a helicopter, and we'll be at nightfall. We're gonna be at bed, warm, cozy, with food and water. It's 52 miles down to the town. What you gonna do? I say we vote for it. And the Beverly Hills mom, of course, I think that's a good idea. And the boy says, no, 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 I want to stay here. I think Mr. Buckner and Mr. DeSanti, they know what they're doing. Now you're coming with me. Come on, take that shit. You're coming with me. And then the boyfriend of the, he decides, oh, he's right. Maybe you should go too. The girlfriend doesn't want to, but he also drags her with her. So, so he gets like 4 people to go with him, and the NFL football player and the professor, and then Lena Day George and DeSanti and Buckner, they're going their own way. So the Buckner's group, they find this mining shaft. They're safe because it's starting to rain like hell. And Nielsen's group is like, he's trying to put on fire, and he's like bare chested. And I have to say, he's got really bulky. I mean, he had big arms, big chest, six pack. I mean, he's just. But what I always wondered was, did he came gray haired out of the womb? I never seen the guy. It's 77. He's still up. He shouldn't be that old, right? I didn't look it up. I should look it up. But it looked like he came gray haired out of the womb, making, because he always has a fart. They say he always had a fart cushion. He probably came out of the womb like. I mean, was he always with gray hair? I mean, yeah, it looks like he was really gray at an early age, which is weird. That it can be. That's some people have that, genetics. But everybody starts to complain, and he goes to the Beverly Hills mom and calls her. You listen up, you Beverly Hills bitch. Shut up, or I'll kill you, and I'll throw your little cockroach off the cliff with you. And then the boyfriend says, listen, you're going too far. Going too far. He hits him with a stick. I do what I fucking want to do. And you know what? I want to have that. He goes to the girl and he says, come to Papa. Let's just have fun. He basically wants to rape the girlfriend. And the boyfriend's like, I'm gonna kill you. Kill me. Here. He stabs him through the gut all the way through. He kills the boyfriend. Then he goes back to the girlfriend. They're all scared now of him. He's become a madman. He's trying to rape the girl. He's trying. Leslie Nielsen raping somebody is beyond me, because when I grew up, I saw the Naked Gun movies. He did only comedies, but he's a fucking asshole, racist, rapist at this point. Then a fucking grizzly bear comes up, and what does Nielsen does? He throws his stick away, and it's like, you stupid beast. He's going head on in a collision with a fucking grizzly bear that's 2 times his size, and I shit you not, he hugs it, but the bear hugs him. The bear is clawing his back open, his blood spewing out his mouth, and and I shit you not, Leslie Nielsen, you gotta give him that. He tries to bite off the bear's ear, and then he eventually goes on the ground, and he gets mauled to death by the bear. You hear that in the distance, the rest are running away, that he's getting killed. He's dead. They find one of the helicopters, but they're surrounded by dogs, and the almost rapee, she gets attacked by one of the dogs. Her leg is bitten, and they luckily can pull her in the helicopter, but she did a bad deal. She didn't want to go with him. It's her boyfriend that, pushed her. Then at some point, a helicopter arrives, and they're saved. The fucking Beverly Hills bitch is saved. Jesus fucking Christ. That's where Leslie Nielsen had it right. Beverly Hills bitch. Yeah. Now, in the meantime, the Buckner group, they know where all these lodges are, nature lodges, and they want to stay there. And they're surrounded by fucking dogs. I mean, all these dogs are coming towards them, out of the lodges, off the roof of the lodges. And I'm not kidding, like 100 dogs are coming towards them. They're trying to barricade one cabin. They're trying to keep the dogs away. It's a hard thing to do. Then, actually, Linda Day George, everybody's helping. She's standing there in the corner, like, I mean, help, for God's sakes. I mean, the cancer patient is trying, because he had a cane too. He doesn't have his cane. He's limping now. He's trying everything that he can. They stop attacking. And Buckner says, they stop attacking, it's safe now. But he forgets, and that's the thing with Christopher George. He doesn't want to accept that he's wrong, or that he's not for the money that he's gonna lose. A bad review in 1977, probably on paper. No, he just don't want. DeSanti is constantly saying that these creatures are different. So he opens the door, and he immediately a dog comes flying over him. All these dogs come in, and they're all getting mauled, and the professor gets killed. The NFL player, he's yelling, "I'm not going out this way, boof, boof." But I actually don't see that they die. But Buckner, DeSanti, and Linda Day George, they get the fuck away. They go to this pontoon, water pontoon. Were they dead? They were wounded, but they weren't dead. And Christopher George says, they're gone. And just goes on this raft. Two dogs jump on this raft. They can't get on. They have to hit them off. But it's, these dogs are really fucked up. And eventually they get them off, and they're on this raft. But the thing is that how the Beverly Hills mom is saved is, and I gotta admit, I jump scared, because and when a horror movie does that I go like, ah! It means that a horror movie did something right. She opens the door, and a dead dog falls from the ceiling of the helicopter, and they see all the dogs dead, every animal dead, and we hear through the radio that the ozone layer is back to normal, and the radiation is going back to the sun. No more chemical gases. And then we see the Buckner group, Christopher George, DeSanti, and Linda Day George, going towards the bridge with military personnel. Also, military personnel goes into town in these hazmat suits, and they find the little girl in the car, and they save her, luckily. And I was scared they're gonna say, it's plan B, kill everything on sight. The military does that shit when infection happens. But they knew the infection was gone, and they saved the girl, and the movie ends with an eagle flying towards the camera, and that's the end of the movie. Now, what did I like? The animals were fucking creepy. They were basically watching them all the way through. They were following them. And I'm not only saying buzzards. They were constantly flying in the air. The eagles were watching them from the trees. The fucking bears, the fucking mountain, because they said mountain lions don't attack in groups. They attack their rogue hunters. So they only attack with one attack. One does the attacking. Not like 5 or 6 or 7 or how many there were. And I like that. I really like, and also that Leslie Nielsen, how horrible he was, he really put an effort in this movie as a completely contrast to his comedy characters. It's still jarring to me that you can see him like that, a douchebag, a fuckhead, racist, then killer, and then rapist. I mean, he's just he's you wanted him dead, but and he gets a cool death, but you know, the fact that Leslie Nielsen says, "I'm gonna attack this bear," well, he's twice the size of the bear. He bum rushes the bear, but the bear doesn't even move, and Jesus Christ. He was far gone. He was really far gone because he was saying, I should just take what I want. I take what I want. I am the boss, not you, God. I am the boss. He's saying he's completely delirious. The chemicals really had an effect on him, but from the beginning, he was complaining. He was like trying to be the boss. He didn't like to be ordered or to be lead by this Buckner guy, Christopher George. Leslie Nielsen, one of a role you'll probably never see him in again. The Day of the Animals, 1977. I like Christopher George. I like especially Michael DeSanti. He had this presence, like I said, Billy from The Predator, but even a little bit more so that he also tried to talk to people and calm them down. He was the guy who kept a level head. He gave his water to people, and the NFL player says, aren't you thirsty?" He says, "I'm not thirsty." And he's laughing, and he knows that he's thirsty, but he just wants to give the other people water. That's just the kind of guy he is. I mean, he was a swell guy, and luckily he survives. And like I said, Linda Day George and Christopher George give them a bigger role. They're good. They're actually good. The negative parts of this movie are, and like I said, the what really got to me was the girl's face when she sees her surrogate father being ripped to pieces. I mean, that was just heartbreaking. And then the fact that I got a jump scare out of a horror movie, then in my opinion, the movie did its job. I liked the little boy because he was like tough. The Santi also said, "You gotta be strong. You gotta be tough. Just just protect your mother because she needs it, because she didn't know what the fuck she was doing there." Oh, my lipstick. Where's my lipstick case? Jesus fucking Christ. But she survives. The rapey girl, almost raped girl, she survives. And I wanted her to survive because she went through hell with Leslie Nielsen. So, but yeah, I think they didn't want to kill off the mom because then, the son wouldn't have anybody. And yeah. And I'll say it like I said. So, all the rest of the people get saved, and it's sort of a happy ending for them then. But like I said, what I disliked was the accent of Christopher George. I know how he sounds, and that sort of Texas, y'all come with me now. It's, and then when the buzzards attack the horrible wife and she's thrown off this cliff, you can clearly see it's a project. She's lying and doing this, oh, lying on a projector, you know, just a projector, and then she falls on a cliff, and then we see real time. So that was fake as shit. Also, there's a scene when they go up with the helicopters, and I swear to you, it looked like the nature of The Shining when you know when Jack Torrance goes up the mountains. It looked exactly like that. Now I don't think that Stanley Kubrick stole from that, but it looked like that. It looked like that. Maybe his inspiration came from that. Who knows? So there's not a lot of negativity. It's just yeah. But okay, a side tangent. So pieces. You have pieces. Christopher George is not utilized at all. He's just a cop smoking cigars. He's giving all his trust in this fucking guy Kendall, who fucked every co-ed there is. Probably every victim there was, he fucked. The guy who's unresistible to women, curly haired, glasses wearing, cardigan wearing asshole. We see him at some point with an erect penis when he's fucking a girl who's like a banshee in heat, screaming like a banshee. And he trusts him with all of his life and his reputation. And that was, and then Linda Day George. I mean, every aficionado of horror knows what happens in this movie when she's coming out of the shower room and finds a body. Remember this. Those bastards! 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 I mean, it's a what they made a meme, constant meme of that. I mean, her performance. There's a horror movie that I'm gonna review, Mortuary, a slasher movie that she's also in there. Also Christopher George, but again, he doesn't get a lot of screen time. He sadly passed away in 1984 because of a heart attack. But she's more grounded. She's grieving wife and a bothered mother with a bothering daughter. She's really good. And Christopher George in Grizzly, he's really good in that one. He's really trying to take charge, trying to, you know, they want to shut down the park. It's my park. I decide. He's a head forest ranger in that movie. They're good actors. If you give them a chance to shine, they're good actors. But for some reason, in Pieces, they act like shite. And Night of the City of the Living Dead, he was okay. He was okay. He was there, but then he gets killed off. Nah. I thought he's not gonna survive, but okay. In any case, Day of the Animals, great movie, 6.5. Watch it. Even when I spoiled it, it's still a really entertaining movie because I didn't tell everything. I guarantee you. See you next time. for another review. Bye bye.